everybody. How are you guys? What a great time in St. Louis. What a great town. St. Louis, the latest city in my multi-city stop-and-go trip from LA to Columbus, Ohio, where I used to live and have family. And did some comedy at the Improv Shop. They have a stand-up night there on Mondays. What a cool place. It's an old warehouse, and they have 2 big rooms for performance. Really cool. I'm looking around, I'm thinking, God, if you had something like this in LA, it would be amazing. This size, it was so big. And thanks to everybody over there at the Improv Shop. Had a great time performing tonight. But now we're off to the next city, which will be Indianapolis, and then Columbus, Ohio, with possible stops in Dayton. We'll see what happens. Stops, multiple. No, I meant single stop in Dayton. Yes, we're going to make multiple stops. So, I had such a great time in St. Louis. It's such an old city, such an integral part of the history of America. Such a key city in the growth of the West. And, like little things like, for example, I don't know the names of the neighborhoods, but there's some really old neighborhoods just west of downtown. And I passed this corner bar called Riley. I think it was called Riley's Pub, and it looks like the other homes in the neighborhood. It just looks like a home turned into a pub. And I thought, wow, that's such a St. Louis thing, because it really fits the neighborhood. And there's people in there at 12:30 in the morning, on a Monday. They're just chilling. And so if you lived in that little block there, or that little, you can walk down. It just seemed, like a very St. Louis situation there, with the pub right there on the corner of the neighborhood, with no other businesses around. The rest was residential. So, with that in mind, I thought that I would share some of the things I learned about St. Louis in the last 24 hours. And we're going to call this video 10 Things You Probably Didn't Know About St. Louis. Or you could say, let's title it this way. 10 Things You Can Only Do in St. Louis, because it's such a unique town. Let's keep the video to 10 things you can only do in St. Louis. 10 things, okay. We gotta get the topic straight. Otherwise, it's too hard for me to make up topic points on the fly. Now you try it. Well, you think it's easy? All right, let's do it. 10 things you can only do in St. Louis, Missouri. Number 1, St. Louis, Missouri has a long history of German citizenry, descendants of Germany coming over from the old country and settling in the Midwest. Cities like Dayton, Cincinnati, and of course St. Louis, where they have a huge presence. And you can see it at the St. Louis German Beer Museum. That's right, they have a beer museum dedicated to German brews that were significant in the history of St. Louis in building the economy and shaping the future beer industry, with giants such as Anheuser-Busch and others. It's the German Beer and Craft Ale Museum is the full title, and it's right there in downtown, just west of downtown St. Louis, and it's number one in our list of things you can only do in St. Louis. Now, number two, guys, the freeway in St. Louis comes right up to the buildings. You literally can hand things from the freeway out of your car window to somebody in a building. And that's why there is a company called the Freeway to Window Delivery Service. And rather than having to park and come into your building and sign in, this company will deliver documents, legal proceedings, invoices, any kind of business transactional documentation that you need delivered in downtown St. Louis. These guys will drive up to the window of your client, your customer, your partner, whoever you're dealing with, and hand the documents to them from the freeway, saving time and money, and it's something that you'll never see anywhere else. In fact, it's something you can only do in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, number three, guys, remember the river is a big part of a city like St. Louis, not just because it's a body of water that is central to the physical layout of the city, but it also was the main avenue of commerce for decades. And until the railroads were completed, the river was how money got made in St. Louis. And now that airplanes, of course, air travel is more commonplace and more the way that business is handled, is the river forgotten? Well, no. Remember the River Foundation in St. Louis is completely dedicated to creating events on the river to help the city remember its past and to have a good time on the water. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's enjoyment, it's nostalgia, it's recreation. And the next event coming up in the Remember the River Foundation schedule is the jet boat races, dead-on jet boat races. Now, what they do is they don't race each other. It's a form of head-on chicken. So jet boats race at each other at over 200 plus miles an hour, and who is going to turn away first? That's what we don't know. But it's a huge event in St. Louis every year. In fact, it's something you can only see in St. Louis, Missouri. That's number three. Guys, number four, every city these days is getting into bicycling. Well, St. Louis is way ahead, because not only can you ride your bicycle along the streets of St. Louis, you can ride your indoor bicycle along the streets. That's right. If you have an indoor bike that has a regular back wheel, but it doesn't have a front wheel, the city of St. Louis will donate a wheel to you, so you can then attach it to your indoor training bicycle, and now you have an outdoor bike that rides along the street. Anything to keep the hearts and health of St. Louis residents at tip-top condition, and that's what the city wants to do. So if you have a indoor training bicycle that you want to ride outside, give the city a call. It's something you can only do in St. Louis, Missouri. And number five is so much fun too. The universities in the city, there's so many of them, there's too hard to list, too many to list, but they've all banded together. Now, usually they're competing for students, competing for funds, competing on the athletic fields, competing on the ice, and the hockey tournaments. But this time they all banded together to promote one idea, and that is that college students should not have to pay for beer, because they spend so much money on beer, it doesn't leave enough for incidentals like first aid, because they're always beating each other up. So these colleges in St. Louis have banded together and are now paying the bar bills of every eligible college student, and which means you have to be a student in good standing. You can't just be hanging out even though you dropped out 2 months ago. See what I mean? And it's something you can only do in St. Louis, Missouri. Number six is so much fun, guys. if you are a jogger, are you a runner? Do you like to, or maybe a speed walker? Well, at the St. Louis Jog, Walk, and Shuffle-a-thon, you can use any which way you propel yourself on 2 feet, you biped you, and participate in this particular event because it's for the whole family. Anybody that walks, jogs, runs, or shuffles, you should put yourself out there, raise money by getting sponsors, and enjoy helping your community while engaging in your favorite sport, especially you shufflers. And you don't have to be a professional shuffler. If you primarily shuffle between your bedroom and the bathroom in the morning, and that's your daily shuffle, then hey, that's all we need for you to get qualified to get into the event. And let's see how you do. Put yourself up against the top shufflers, joggers, runners, and walkers in the state. That's number 7 on our list. Number 8 on our list, I think. I have no idea. Number 8. Number 8 on our list deals with the faith of the people in St. Louis that has been so strong over the years. So many different types of faiths in town. So many different followers of different religions. And it's such an inspiration that a city can promote spirituality, if I can say the word, at such a high level that it's not unusual to see a quarterback roll back to throw a pass and all of a sudden genuflect and give a sign of the cross before he springs back up and launches the ball. It's that kind of level of religious involvement in the city, and not just Christianity. I mean, we're talking all the major faiths and a lot of minor faiths are represented in St. Louis, and they have one common theme that holds everything together, and that's beer. That's right. Beer is such a major part of the city that... Oh, that's the police. I thought that car was wiped out. Beer is such a major part of the city, and it is the anchor point keeping every faith happy and healthy. That's number 8 in our list of things you can only see and do in St. Louis, which leads us to number 9. Now, this one is a little bit of a mystery because nobody can really explain it. But in December of last year, an unidentified flying object flew down into the middle of St. Louis and beamed aboard the mayor and the vice mayor of the city. Brought them on board for tests and to share some brews with, and then transported them